Welcome back to Top Coin. Today, we're diving deep into the mysterious and fascinating world of the 1973 Canadian 5-cent coin. We'll uncover its origin, explore why collectors are hunting it down, look at rare varieties, and reveal how much this small piece of metal could be worth in today's market. So, if you've ever found a 5-cent coin with a beaver on it and the date 1973, don't spend it just yet. This could be your hidden treasure. Let's go back in time to the early 1970s. The year is 1973. Canada is celebrating its 100th anniversary of the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the iconic RCMP. Now, most of the attention that year was on a special 25-cent coin featuring a mounted officer. But something else was quietly happening that coin collectors wouldn't notice until years later. The standard 5-cent coin, the nickel, was still being minted. It featured the familiar beaver design, a symbol of Canada's industrious spirit and natural heritage. The obverse showed Queen Elizabeth II, her youthful portrait by Arnold Mackin, which had been used since the 1960s. But here's where things get interesting. A small number of these 1973 nickels were struck using the wrong die, and that tiny mistake would later become a collector's goldmine. You see, most 1973 5-cent coins were struck using what's called the small bust of the Queen, the older, more common design. But a very limited number were accidentally minted using a large bust die that was meant for coins in 1974 and beyond. This created what collectors now call the 1973 large bust variety, and it's extremely rare. How rare? Well, according to experts and reports from seasoned numismatists, only a few thousand of these large bust 1973 nickels were ever made, and far fewer still exist today in collectible condition. Some estimates say there could be fewer than 1,000 known examples in high grade. But how do you tell if your 1973 nickel is the rare one? Look closely at the Queen's portrait. On the large bust variety, the Queen's neckline is more defined, and the spacing between the letters Regina is slightly different. It might sound subtle, but coin collectors have trained their eyes to spot these minute differences, and they're willing to pay top dollar for them. So, how much is a rare 1973 large bust nickel worth today? Let's break it down. In recent years, high-grade examples of the 1973 large bust 5-cent coin have fetched impressive prices at auction. One specimen in almost uncirculated condition sold for over $300 Canadian. A coin graded MS-65, which means it's in near-perfect mint state, could easily command $400 to $600, or even more if the right collector is looking to complete a rare variety set. Even circulated examples, yes, ones that have been used in regular transactions, can be worth $40, $60, sometimes even $100 depending on eye appeal and rarity. Now compare that to its face value of just 5 cents. We're talking about a return of over 10,000% for a single coin. Incredible, isn't it? But that's not all. Even regular 1973 nickels, the small bust version, are starting to gain traction among casual collectors, especially those in pristine condition. Why? Because the 1970s era coins are now over 50 years old. They're becoming vintage. And when a coin crosses that half-century mark, interest begins to rise, especially in Canada, where coin collecting is surging thanks to renewed interest in national history, rare varieties, and investment-grade metal pieces. Coin shows across the country are seeing more collectors asking about the 1973 nickel. It's not just because of its rare large bust variety. It's also because this coin represents a time in Canadian history, the era of Trudeau Sr., the FLU crisis aftermath, the rise of national identity, and every coin tells a story from that time. People aren't just collecting metal. They're collecting memory. They're collecting moments frozen in time. So, what should you do if you find a 1973 Canadian 5-cent coin in your pocket or coin jar? First, don't spend it. Second, examine it carefully. Look for signs of wear, detail, and above all, check the bust.is at the small one. Or did you just hit the numismatic jackpot and find the elusive large bust? If you're not sure, take it to a local coin dealer or submit photos to a reputable coin forum. There are thousands of passionate collectors online who would be more than happy to help you out. And who knows, you might be sitting on a coin that's worth far more than you think. The 1973 Canadian 5-cent coin, a tiny piece of nickel with a big story. Whether it's worth 5 cents or $500, one thing is for sure, it's worth learning about. Today we're diving into the fascinating world of Canadian coins, and we've got a real treasure to talk about. Have you ever come across a 1993 Canadian 5-cent coin? You might be holding on to something far more valuable than you think. What looks like just another nickel could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on a few important details. So make sure you stay with me until the end, because we're going to uncover everything you need to know about this hidden gem, from its origin and rare varieties to the current market value and how much collectors are willing to pay for it today. This isn't just pocket change. This could be a coin that turns your small change into big money. Let's jump into the history first. Let's rewind back to the year 1993. Canada was going through a time of political transition and economic reform. It was also a year that would become significant in Canadian numismatics, the study and collection of coins, because of some peculiarities involving the humble 5-cent coin. The Canadian 5-cent piece has always held a special place in the hearts of collectors. It's been around since the 1850s, and over the decades, it has undergone several design changes, metal composition updates, and minting techniques. But the 1993 issue stands out, and not just for how it looks or feels, but for what happened behind the scenes at the Royal Canadian Mint. In 1993, the Royal Canadian Mint issued these nickels using the standard design, with the familiar beaver on the reverse side, originally designed by G. Kruger Gray back in 1937. On the obverse, or front of the coin, we have the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, which had been updated in 1990 to show Her Majesty as she appeared in middle age, based on a design by Dora de Pederhunt. But here's where it gets interesting. Most of the 1993 nickels were struck using a standard design and metal composition, nickel-plated steel. However, due to some transitional minting activity and leftover blanks from previous years, a small number of coins were struck on older planchets or coin blanks that had slightly different metal content and weight. Collectors discovered that some 1993 nickels were heavier than others. Some were made of pure nickel, weighing 4.55 grams, while others, especially later issues, were lighter and had a different sound when dropped. This is where coin collecting gets thrilling, when minor differences turn a coin from ordinary to extraordinary. Even more notably, there have been reports of proof-like strikes and even a few off-metal errors where coins were struck on blanks meant for other denominations or years. These rare variations fetch big bucks in today's collector market. Now, here's what every coin collector wants to know. How rare is this coin, and how much is it worth today? The standard 1993 Canadian 5-cent coin in circulated condition isn't especially rare. If it's worn and shows typical signs of use, it might fetch between 10 to 25 cents from a dealer or collector. But here's the twist. The real value lies in uncirculated coins, proof-like strikes, or coins with unique errors. A 1993 nickel in mint state condition, graded MS 65 or higher by professional grading services, can sell for anywhere between $20 to $50, depending on the grade and market conditions. If you happen to own a proof-like coin that was part of a collector's set, it could fetch $75 or more, especially if it's sealed and certified. But if you are one of the lucky few who owns an error coin, such as a 1993 5-cent piece struck on the wrong planchet, the value can skyrocket. Some of these rare errors have sold for several $100s, and there are recorded cases of sales surpassing $1,000 when the coin is in pristine condition and authenticated by top grading companies like PCGS or ICS.SO. How can you tell if your 1993 nickel is a rare and valuable one? Start by examining the weight. A normal coin should weigh around 4.6 grams. If yours is significantly heavier or lighter, it could be struck on the wrong metal. Use a digital scale to check. Next, examine the coin under a magnifying glass. Look at the edges. Any signs of double striking, odd rims, missing details, or off-center designs? Those are indicators of mint errors. Also, check the coin's condition. If the details are crisp, the fields are shiny, and the coin has no signs of wear, it could be a high-grade example, making it more valuable to collectors. Lastly, look for any unusual toning or coloring, which sometimes results from minting anomalies. These types of coins can also generate extra interest at auctions. Let's talk numbers. As of today, here are some general price ranges you can expect for a 1993 Canadian 5-cent coin. Circulated coins, between 10 and 25 cents. Mint state coins, MS 60 to MS 65, around $10 to $1.50 proof. Like coins from collector sets, $50 to $100 plus. Error coins or rare planchets, $200 to $1,000 or more depending on rarity and demand to sell your coin. You've got a few options. Online marketplaces like eBay, Etsy, and specialized coin auction platforms are great places to reach collectors worldwide. You can also try visiting local coin shows, contacting numismatic clubs, or getting your coin professionally graded to maximize its appeal. The 1993 Canadian 5-cent coin is a great example of why coin collecting is more than just a hobby. It's a form of treasure hunting. It teaches us to look closely, think historically, and appreciate the craftsmanship behind every coin. If you have one of these coins lying around, now is the time to take a closer look. Even if it's not worth a fortune, it's still a piece of Canadian history that could become more valuable over time. And if you're lucky enough to own a rare version, you could be sitting on a small but exciting windfall. So get out your change jars, check your piggy banks, and start hunting. That ordinary-looking 1993 nickel might just be the surprise of a lifetime. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more deep dives into rare coins, collectibles, and hidden treasures. Have you found any rare coins lately? Let me know in the comments below. I love hearing your stories. And if you'd like me to cover a specific coin in a future video, drop your suggestions down there too. Today, we've got something special, a deep dive into the 2005 Canadian 5-cent coin. You might think it's just another nickel, but what if I told you that this little coin could be worth a lot more than 5 cents? That's right. Some of these coins are now fetching serious money from collectors across Canada and even beyond. So grab your magnifying glass, sit back, and let's uncover the secrets of the 2005 Canadian nickel. Before we jump into the 2005 edition, let's rewind for a moment. Canada's 5-cent coin has a long and fascinating history. The first nickels were minted in 1922, replacing the silver half-dimes. Since then, they've become a staple of Canadian currency, instantly recognizable by the famous beaver design, a tribute to Canada's fur-trading roots and rich natural history. Over the years, the 5-cent coin has undergone various design tweaks, metal changes, and even a few minting mistakes. And that's where things get exciting. The year 2005 was not just another year for the Royal Canadian Mint. It marked the 60th anniversary of the end of World War II, and as such, the Mint released several commemorative coins. But the standard 2005 5-cent coin still featured the traditional design, the beaver sitting proudly on a rock, a design originally created by G.E. Kruger Gray in 1937. Now you might be thinking, okay, what makes this particular year stand out? It's not rare like some older coins, right? Well, here's where things get really interesting. Here's the truth. Not all 2005 nickels are created equal. Most were mass-produced in large quantities. And yes, those are generally worth face value. But a few versions, a few specific types, especially those with minting errors or certain unique characteristics, are now selling for tens to hundreds of dollars, and in rare cases, even more. Let's break it down. Number 1. Low mintage varieties. Some of the 2005 nickels were minted with different alloys. While most were made from plated steel, a few were accidentally struck on nickel planchets or with different core materials. These off-metal strikes are extremely rare. Number 2. Error coins. Error coins are the crown jewels for collectors. You might find a 2005 nickel with double strikes, off-center strikes, missing plating, or even die cracks. These minting mistakes can turn an ordinary coin into a valuable collectible. One off-center 2005 nickel reportedly sold for over $100, simply because of its striking error and uniqueness. Number 3. High-grade uncirculated or proof-like coins. If you have a 2005 nickel that has never seen circulation, no scratches, no dents, perfect shine, especially those graded MS 65 or higher by professional grading services, then you're in luck. These high-grade examples can command strong premiums from collectors seeking perfect specimens for their sets. So, how do you know if you have one of these rare or valuable coins? Here's a quick checklist. Look at the edge. A magnetic test can help determine the metal composition. Some off-metal strikes are non-magnetic. Use a magnifying glass to check for errors, doubling of numbers, misaligned designs, or unusual marks. Compare the finish. If the coin is unusually shiny, reflective, and free from wear, it could be a high-grade example. And if you suspect you found something special, consider getting it graded by a professional service like ICCS or PCGS. A certified coin always fetches more in the market. All right, let's talk numbers. What is a 2005 Canadian nickel actually worth today? Circulated, Common condition. It's worth about 5 cents, of course. Uncirculated high-grade examples. These can range from $1 to $10, depending on the grade. Proof-like and specially struck examples. These might fetch $20 to $1.50. Error coins, like off-center strikes or wrong planchets. These can go from $50 to $300 or more, depending on the rarity and error severity. And the market is always changing. A rare variety that sells for $75 today could go for $150 tomorrow if collector interest spikes. If you're looking to invest in modern Canadian coins or grow your collection, the 2005 nickel is an affordable and exciting starting point. Check coin shops, online auction sites, estate sales, or even your own change jar. You never know what hidden treasure might be waiting. Keep your coins clean, store them in protective flips or capsules, and always handle them by the edges to preserve value. Who knew a simple nickel from 2005 could be worth so much more? Whether you're a hardcore numismatist or just getting into coin collecting, the world of Canadian nickels is full of surprises. If you learned something new today, smash that like button, subscribe for more hidden coin treasures, and ring the bell so you never miss a video. Got a 2005 nickel in your collection? Drop a comment below and tell us about it. Who knows, you might be sitting on a small fortune. That's right. Today, we're talking about a tiny piece of metal that might just be worth a lot more than you think. The humble 2008 Canadian 5-cent coin. That little nickel you've seen lying at the bottom of drawers, in old coin jars, or tucked away in your childhood piggy bank, could be worth more than its face value. In fact, some collectors are on the hunt for specific 2008 nickels. And if you've got the right one, you could be holding a piece of hidden treasure. But what makes this coin so special? Why would anyone pay more than 5 cents for it? And what should you look for if you want to know whether your 2008 nickel is one of the rare and valuable ones? Stick around, because this video is going to take you deep into the history, the minting secrets, collector demand, and the real-time market value of the 2008 Canadian 5-cent coin. To understand the value of the 2008 nickel, we first have to look back, way back, into the history of Canada's 5-cent coins. The Canadian nickel has been in circulation since 1922, when it replaced the earlier silver 5-cent coin. Over the years, the coin evolved not only in design, but also in metal composition. From pure nickel to plated steel, and even temporary materials during wartime, the 5-cent coin has a rich and fascinating past. And there's one more thing. The design. That iconic beaver, proudly sitting atop a log, is more than just a national symbol. Introduced in 1937, the beaver design by G.E. Kruger Gray has become synonymous with Canadian nickels. It's a symbol of hard work, perseverance, and Canadian heritage, and it's front and center on our 2008 coin. Now let's zoom into the year 2008. Canada was not in the middle of a coin redesign. It wasn't a commemorative year. There were no major minting overhauls. So why is this coin standing out today? Here's where things get interesting. In 2008, the Royal Canadian Mint produced nickels in two main compositions. Some were made from a multi-ply plated steel, that is, a steel core with layers of nickel and copper. Others were made with a different finish or were part of collector sets that didn't go into general circulation. But there's more. Some 2008 nickels were struck with better precision, cleaner dies, and fewer defects, making them highly desirable among numismatists. What collectors really crave are coins in mint state condition. That means uncirculated coins that look almost brand new, straight from the mint, often graded MS 65 and higher. So, if you've got a 2008 nickel that looks unusually shiny, sharp, and well-preserved, it could be worth much more than a simple 5 cents. But there's another twist. Not all 2008 nickels are created equal. Some specific varieties and mint errors have caused a surge in collector interest. There have been reports of double die errors on 2008 nickels, where the image or lettering appears slightly doubled due to a misalignment during the minting process. Other rare finds include off-center strikes, die cracks, and planchet flaws. If you've got a 2008 nickel with any of these features, it's not just rare, it's collectible. And let's not forget the proof-like and specimen coins. These are coins that were never intended for everyday use. Instead, they were part of special collector sets, and they were struck with extra care. High detail, high shine, limited mintage. These can be significantly more valuable than S. Oh, what's the real-world value of a 2008 Canadian 5-cent coin in today's market? Well, if it's just an average circulated coin with some scratches and wear from years of handling, it's probably still worth only 5 cents. But if you've got a near-mint or uncirculated example, especially one graded by a professional service like ICCS or PCGS, you might be looking at values anywhere from $2 to 15 Canadian dollars or more. Rare error coins. Those can fetch $50 to even $100 plus, depending on the rarity and condition. And for collector-grade specimen coins from the 2008 mint sets, these can be valued at $10 to $30 or more, especially if part of a full set in original packaging. Remember, the coin market is influenced by demand, rarity, condition, and eye appeal. That's why two seemingly identical nickels can have wildly different values. Online platforms like eBay, heritage auctions, and even local Canadian numismatic forums have shown growing interest in this coin, particularly high-grade examples, and those with visible minting anomalies. So what should you do if you've got a 2008 Canadian nickel? Examine it carefully. Look for any unusual features, doubling, off-centers, extra shine. Check the condition. The less wear, the more valuable. Compare it to certified examples. Use reputable coin grading websites or consult a local coin shop. Consider getting it graded, especially if you believe it's uncirculated or contains an error. Join online coin forums and communities. Share photos. Get opinions. Some collectors are willing to pay premium prices for coins that complete their collection. The 2008 Canadian 5-cent coin might seem small, ordinary, overlooked. But as with so many things in life, value is hidden in the details. Whether it's a stunning mint error, an ultra-sharp proof specimen, or just a perfectly preserved nickel from your childhood stash, the 2008 nickel is a reminder that even the most modest coins can carry history, intrigue, and yes, even hidden treasure. So go check your change jars. Open those old drawers. Flip through your coin albums. Because the next valuable coin might already be in your hands. That if you found this video informative or exciting, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more deep dives into rare and valuable coins, and tap that bell icon so you never miss a hidden treasure. Drop a comment below if you have a 2008 nickel or want us to feature a specific coin in the next video. Today's spotlight is on a small but mighty piece of Canadian currency, the 2015 Canadian 5-cent coin. You might be surprised to hear this, but some of these coins are worth way more than 5 cents. In fact, depending on certain factors, this little coin could be worth hundreds, even thousands, of dollars to the right collector. So grab your magnifying glass, sit tight, and let's dive deep into the world of nickels, as we uncover everything you need to know about the 2015 Canadian 5-cent coin, its history, hidden varieties, market value, and how you could be holding on to a valuable piece of Canadian numismatic history without even knowing it. Let's start by going back in time for a moment. The Canadian 5-cent coin, commonly known as the nickel, has a long and rich history. Introduced back in 1858 when Canada was still under British rule, the original 5-cent piece was actually made of silver and quite a bit smaller than the nickel we know today. Over the decades, the coin evolved in size, metal composition, and design, eventually adopting the nickel alloy and the now iconic beaver image in 1937, a design created by artist G. Kruger Gray. Fast forward to 2015. Canada continued producing the nickel with the same beloved design. The obverse features the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, sculpted by Susanna Blunt, which had been in use since 2003. The reverse proudly displays the beaver, symbolizing hard work, industriousness, and Canada's connection to nature and its fur trade history. At first glance, the 2015 nickel seems ordinary. But if you look closer, you'll find out why collectors and coin dealers have been buzzing about this particular year. Now here's where things get interesting. While millions of 2015 nickels were minted for general circulation, a small number of them were struck under unique conditions, and some were produced with unexpected minting errors. And these are the ones making waves in the numismatic world today. Some examples of rare variations include double die errors. Certain 2015 nickels exhibit doubling on the date or the Queen's portrait. These double die errors occur when the coin is struck more than once with a misaligned die, causing a blurry or doubled appearance on parts of the design. Depending on how dramatic the doubling is, these coins can fetch hundreds of dollars. Off-center strikes. Coins that are not perfectly aligned during the minting process result in off-center strikes. These errors can be subtle or quite extreme. The more dramatic the error, the more valuable the coin tends to be. Planchet errors. Rare cases exist where coins were struck on the wrong type of metal blank or with incomplete metal planchets. These are highly sought after and can bring in high values at auction. But aside from mint errors, there are also special edition 2015 nickels that were released in uncirculated sets or collector's packs by the Royal Canadian Mint. These coins are in pristine condition and were never meant for general circulation. Collectors pay a premium for such high-quality specimens, especially when they're still sealed in their original mint packaging. Let's talk numbers, the part everyone's been waiting for. So how much could your 2015 Canadian nickel really be worth? If you have a regular circulated version of the 2015 5-cent coin, it's likely still worth just face value, 5 cents. However, if your coin is in mint state condition, meaning it shows no signs of wear and has a brilliant, almost untouched surface, it could be worth more. Coins graded by professional services as MS-65 or higher often sell for $5 to $20, depending on demand. Now, if you have a proof-like or specimen version from a collector's set, or if your coin has one of the rare errors we mentioned earlier, your coin could be worth anywhere from $50 to $500 or more, depending on the severity and uniqueness of the error. In fact, certain error nickels from recent years have sold at auction for over $1,000. And since many collectors specialize in error coins or modern Canadian varieties, the demand for these oddities is only growing. To determine the exact value of your 2015 nickel, you'll need to consider the coin's condition and luster, whether it has any mint errors or die varieties, if it's from a collector's set or standard circulation, the current market demand and recent auction results. So how can you tell if you're sitting on a small fortune? Start by grabbing a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe and examine your 2015 nickel carefully. Look at the edges, the date, the queen's portrait, and the beaver design. Check for signs of doubling, off-center alignment, unusual shapes, or changes in texture. Next, compare it to known examples of error coins by visiting coin forums, auction listings, or consulting a trusted coin dealer. If your coin appears to have unique traits, it might be time to have it professionally graded by companies like ICS in Canada or NGC and PCGS in North America. A certified grade can significantly increase its value and make it easier to sell to serious collectors. As of now, the coin collecting hobby is more alive than ever. Online marketplaces like eBay, heritage auctions, and various coin forums are buzzing with activity, and modern Canadian coins are drawing more interest from collectors around the world, thanks to social media and YouTube channels just like this one. More people are becoming aware of how valuable everyday pocket change can be. This is pushing prices upward, especially for error coins, uncirculated specimens, and niche varieties like the 2015 5-cent coin. If you're looking to sell, now might be the perfect time. And if you're collecting, keep your eyes peeled for underappreciated gems. So there you have it. The 2015 Canadian 5-cent coin might look small and simple, but it holds incredible potential, especially if you happen to own a rare variety. Whether you're just getting started in coin collecting or you're a seasoned numismatist, this humble nickel proves that you never know what treasures you might find in your spare change. Make sure to check your coin jars, your wallet, your old coin albums, because one of these might just be hiding in plain sight. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of Canadian coins, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more amazing numismatic content, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. Drop a comment below if you found a 2015 nickel or want help identifying one. I'd love to hear your stories and help you figure out if you've got something special. Thanks for watching, and remember, every coin has a story. Until next time, happy collecting.